And because we were there during their winter season, the crocodiles were everywhere, so you can't really swim just like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones, exactly. We avoided that situation. But we swam, they call them, I don't know how they call them, like it's sweet water, little pots or lakes, something like a lagoon.
Did you eat crocodile meat?
I eat kangaroo meat. Yeah, not crocodile.
Yeah.
Friendly show.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So it starts like, here we go. So today I'm hosting two guests from Netherland. They are students and they just finished their bachelor in Netherlands, and one from Serbia, another one from Romania. So welcome to my little apartment.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna introduce a little bit about them. So starting from
I'm Anja.
Anja.
Yeah.
Anja is from Serbia.
Yes, exactly.
And what do you study in Netherlands?
I study biomedical sciences, and I just finished my bachelor's there. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Biomedical science.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
No.
And what about you?
Well, I do European studies, which is arguably less smart than biomedical sciences. She always checks my papers, but I can never do the same because I don't understand what she's saying.
Yeah.
But still, that's cool. And also, I would like to congratulate to your bachelor party, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Since you are finishing your study and it's a kind of treatment.
Yeah, exactly. We
for
actually met each other. We're one of the first friends that we made at university when we just moved into the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only suitable to also end it together, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We pulled each other through university.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you came to Italy for 5 days of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your plan, like going around Tuscany, or which cities would you like to see?
She's more of a planner for this one.
Well, so far, what we do know that we have planned is Pisa, Livorno, and Lucca.
Mm-hmm.
And we were also considering going somewhere nicer by the beach, because Livorno is not that nice, we heard. So we might do that.
Yeah.
Our next host lives in Livorno, which is why we're staying there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think if he or she is a local, I think they will definitely tell you which one is the better, because I'm not a local, as you see. I'm from Mongolia, which is completely land without any sea. So I'm not good at this kind of things. So the next question is like, why do you choose Couchsurfing for your traveling? And also, what is the benefit of Couchsurfing? Because most of the people don't know about Couchsurfing, and some of them afraid of using it.
Yeah. Well, actually, we first wanted to stay at someone that we know. So Sabina has a network of friends all around Europe, so she wanted to stay there, but they weren't available. So
yeah, they have exams in Italian university now, so they're all very busy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then I know from my friend from last year that she went couchsurfing with another friend of hers, and she had a really good experience. She said that the hosts that they had were really nice. They didn't have any problems, and especially if they travel with someone else, then it's less of a risk, I guess, that something might happen. Sort of like keeping each other company whilst also being hosted by someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, well, one reason for us was of course to save money. We can't really lie about that, about couchsurfing. But then also we thought that, yeah, we don't want to be trapped in the tourist bubble. We also talked already about the hostels and always meeting people who are just there for saying that they were there and staying in the city center of a city, which is not all that a country or a city has to offer. So yeah, we wanted to do a bit more than just pay for a cheap hostel in the city. Yeah.
And every time I travel, I always ask friends if they know, or if they know someone who lives in the place I go. And I always ask for recommendations from locals about where to eat, what things to do, and I don't really go, let's say, by what's the name of the travel advisor thing? TripAdvisor. There we go. Yeah. I don't really go by TripAdvisor, so I just try to find things out from locals, which is why, since we couldn't...
So you trust local more than TripAdvisor?
Oh yeah. I always have a better experience.
That's actually the pretty good idea. Yeah. And okay, that's cool, because most of the people choose Couchsurfing because of the saving money. That's actually the well suited for the people. And also, I guess, I would like to say to people that who want to travel but saying that I don't have money, to choose Couchsurfing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And the next question, and it seems that you are quite a traveler around the world. So what was the best experience so far for you, like traveling around the world? And also it could be the worst experience. I
think I know your worst experience.
No, I have a worse one. I was in Edinburgh with a few friends of mine. We went there for a Model United Nations conference, but we went there a few days in advance just to see the city.
Yeah.
And it was early March, I think, and I wore these shoes that have like a platform, and I twisted my ankle on the pavement, on the cobblestones, but then Mama didn't raise no coward, so I just kept walking. And then there's I don't know if you've been to Edinburgh, but there's this big hill called Arthur's Seat.
Okay.
And it's quite a big hike. It's like an hour or two. It's not like a tall mountain, but it's a significant hill. So I did that in a skirt and platforms with a twisted ankle, which turned like black or purple the next few days, and it hurt for months. Like I was complaining for months about that.
Yeah. And why did you decide to go to the heat?
Because all my friends were. I didn't want to stay behind.
You shouldn't have piggyback.
Yeah, that's true. But it was still a fun experience.
It's a fun story for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think I would go with my best one, not my worst one. My best one was definitely the Australia one.
Australia.
Yeah, last summer.
Which city in Australia?
So actually I went there because my boyfriend was on a semester abroad for 6 months, and then in his last month he had time free. So I went to meet him there, and we met in Sydney.
Wow.
Yeah, and then from Sydney we went to Melbourne, and then we went to Brisbane, and then Cairns in the tropical area. And in Cairns we actually rented a sleeping car, so a car that can also be turned into a bed at night, and we camped around the tropical jungles. It was really nice actually. Yeah, but I also said that it was the most familiar but most distant place because it's still very Western. Of course, Australians were a colony, and they have a very familiar, culture to me. So it wasn't that big of a shock. It was just nature was beautiful and everything else was not familiar, but the culture was very, very similar.
They have also a lot of pristine places in Australia.
Yeah, and beautiful, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. And did you try also the well-known beaches in Australia? Because in Australia also they have very nice beaches. I was in Western Australia.
Yeah. So in Eastern Australia, when we were in Cairns, we also went to beaches, but we didn't really plan on which one we visited. It was just the ones that were next to the road. And because we were there during their winter season, the crocodiles were everywhere, so you can't really swim just like that.
Okay. So, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones, exactly. We avoided that situation. But we swam, they call them, I don't know how they call them, like it's sweet water, little pots or lakes, something like a lagoon.
Did you eat crocodile meat?
I eat kangaroo meat. Yeah, not crocodile
which is kind of
chewy,
similar,
chewy,
really chewy.
Really thick usually.
Yeah.
It was.
I did try that one, but I didn't fancy that one.
No, but I had to try it.
Mhm.
Kangaroos are more abundant than cows, I think, for them. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Because when I was in Australia, when we went to desert, there was a sign like on next aside the road saying that kangaroo might jump in front of the car.
Yeah, they have a lot of crashes with kangaroos, so I was really surprised. Yeah, I never told you that I ate a kangaroo.
Yeah, you never told me. I thought you were vegetarian.
After that, I turned vegetarian.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to try the kangaroo. Yeah.
Okay, the kangaroo meat affected her.
Yeah, it turned me vegetarian. No, but yeah, definitely, it's not something I recommend. But when you're in Australia, you have to try it.
Okay, and that's cool. And so, I think I would like to also ask about your original countries, and because I really want to go south, the East Europe. From here, like Estonia, Croatia, and then Romania, Serbia, down to Greece. So maybe I and also a lot of people want to know about different things in Serbia and Romania.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can start with transportation, I guess.
She has a lot of experience with that.
Yeah. So connections aren't too great between Eastern European countries because we're very used to having developed even flights like from here, like from Eastern Europe to the West, rather than to each other. And we spend so long being disconnected from each other that it's still quite hard to make up for the infrastructure while you're still in like Western Eastern Europe. So let's say in even up to Croatia, Slovenia, they're still quite well connected. They've got good highways.
Yeah.
But then everything goes south.
Yeah.
Some countries don't really have trains. So, for instance, Albania doesn't have trains. In Romania, trains are super slow, as well as in Serbia.
Yeah. I would say buses are sort of the main mode of transport. And that also takes time, so it's not like they're very fast. Yeah.
What about hitchhiking? Does it work over there?
I've never heard of anyone hitchhiking or picking up a hitchhiker.
Yeah, it's a slow process. I've heard my dad and I once picked up 2 Polish guys who were hitchhiking from the north of Serbia to Belgrade. And they told us it was quite difficult to find people who would take them. So I guess not that much,
Yeah, but
for us, we just have parents to drive us around.
But if you have a friend and a good podcast, buses are fine.
Yeah, buses I would say are the best option. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm good. I mean, I'll be okay with that the option, I guess.
Yeah.
And
if you have time, trains are also very cheap. So it's just that they're slow.
Yeah.
But if they exist, they're very cheap.
And they're very hot in summer.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay. I can bring my book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or I can bring my laptop and work.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Some people actually said, because we had have friends from the Netherlands who also went on a big Balkan tour. And they said, well, it is slow, but it's so cheap, and they were not in a rush because they had, 10 hours to get from one place to another. So, then you just save the train sleep there.
Okay, what about food?
Oh.
Which is my favorite topic.
Oh, so deeply connected to food back there. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to start?
I've always been vegetarian.
Okay.
Like ever since the start. My family didn't raise me like that. I just sort of ended up like that. I don't know. I was a very determined child. So it was quite difficult growing up in, let's say, like Eastern European food culture, because as a lot of Europe it's quite focused on meat. But what's really nice is that when people fast before Easter or Christmas, what they do is they turn vegan. They don't do it like Catholics do, but they just turn vegan. So there's quite a few vegan options that are really good. And what I always think about when I think about home isn't necessarily the dishes, but the quality of the ingredients. that you can find things that are tasty, that are real, that are not like injected with water, although we're starting to sort of get commercialized in that sense, so it's starting to become difficult to find good ingredients, but you can still do it, or you can still raise your own. Like we have a bit of a vegetable garden back home.
That's cool. That's cool. And also I think you're outlier in your home, in your family, I guess, like me, because I was the rest of my family didn't. I mean, they are not used to go for fishing. I'm the only one who on outside love for fishing.
It's always the first one in the family, I guess, for everything. Yeah, I would say, I mean, although I'm not a big fan of meat, I did grow up a lot with meat, and I think a lot of the dishes, what I especially like about Serbian cuisine is that it's at the intersection of Greek food, like Mediterranean influences, and then Turkish influences, a lot of Turkish, and then a little bit of like Austro-Hungarian, German influence as well from the north. So all of that combined in one cuisine is quite interesting, and then we also make our own twists on everything that we take from other countries.
I'd say it's the same for Romania too. Like, we don't necessarily have one dish that no one else has, but a bunch of other dishes that we took from people around us.
Yeah, and then you make it a bit your own, or you add ingredients that you have around you. But I agree with what Sabina says, is that the quality of the ingredients is actually what makes me nostalgic for food from home. Because I did take recipes from my mom, and for example, she would say like, yeah, just make stuffed peppers. So it's peppers, it's rice and meat, and you stuff and you put oil in it, and that's it. But when you make it with ingredients from the Netherlands, it tastes like nothing, because you need so many spices and other things to make it taste like something. And then from home, because the peppers are amazing and the meat is good quality, and you know, the onions really have taste and everything, that's what actually makes it food from home.
Exactly. So I agree with that. I really miss also traditional dishes, I guess.
Even though Italy has, for example, amazing with food, but I guess you also have
they are amazing with food, and also like amazing with eating, having like cuisine. For instance, they have this sort of like set of foods, like aperitivo and prima, secondo, and dolce, and then wine.
We want all of those. But I guess you also must have food that you miss from home, even though food here is quite good.
Mostly meat.
Yeah.
I'm kind of carnivorous, as opposed to you.
That's fine. We all have our own.
Okay, that's really cool. And the next question is, it's not a question, it's a kind of recommendation or the motivation to people who want to travel, but they are like, it's like people between, I want to travel, but I don't have money. I have to save money, but I want to travel. Something like that. So what would you like to say to those people, and also what is your recommendation? And the second one, can I say also the second one is like, most of people misunderstood of traveling. They go to the places, especially the well-known places, and take photos, and that's all. And they didn't learn about places, or they didn't meet local people, or even they didn't try to know the culture of that country. So what would you like to say?
Well, we're both students, and we both live in a country that is more expensive than where we are from. So budgeting is a big part of who we are as people. And I think we both have our own tricks on like how to balance between saving money and so on. So maybe you want to start, Sabina. Definitely have different strategies from me. What I would recommend, not only for traveling but also in general, is finding a hobby or something that's international, because that way you can connect with people from all over the world.
Exactly.
And they can tell you like exactly how to do things, because when you're a tourist, you don't really know how to approach things, and that's what can get you to spend more money than you actually should, because you don't know where to go. Convenience,
but I would say that especially when it comes to Eastern Europe, that's where you get your money's worth. Sometimes it is more expensive to get to, it's not significantly cheaper by now. It's gotten quite expensive, but the value for money is so much better because everyone's gone to Paris, everyone's gone to London, everyone's gone to Barcelona. But when you go to, I don't know, like Ukraine, when you go to Slovakia, so few people have stories that are comparable to yours, that ultimately yours become much more unique. So if you want to brag about it, go to a place that people don't usually go to.
Exactly.
Try to.
I completely agree with that.
And I would also try, I mean, I know it's the easiest thing is like to go with convenience. So if something is very touristy and everyone has done it before and it's really easy, you have signs everywhere for it, and it's the easiest thing to do. But I would say try to like make life a little bit more difficult for yourself with not going with, you know, the most expensive train that's only for tourists and like takes a bunch of tourists from one place to another and then you drops it there, you take photos and you go back. But maybe try to go with local transport and then try to explore the place around and so on. And I would say where the money saving part comes in is really seeing where your priorities are and what you want to do with your money in the end. I mean, for me, I didn't really stay at people's places, so this is also not, Couchsurfing is also not that common for me, but I always try to go to smaller places that are maybe a bit outside the city. I try to find cheap hostels, meet travelers when I'm there, and then connect with them, and then we go explore the city together and so on. So yeah, I think there's different strategies for every traveler, and it's just about going outside your comfort zone, and then I think the saving the money is really the one that comes more naturally afterwards.
Okay, that's really cool, and and we would like to also thank to all the people who are watching this, and I hope you guys are motivated, and good luck for our guests for the next and following days of their traveling in Tuscany. And see you guys.
Good luck.